Days of Our Lives continue to keep fans on the edge of their seats, and Chanel Dupree finds herself at the center of a heart-wrenching dilemma that could alter her life forever. As rumors swirl about marital strife between Chanel and Johnny DiMera, the question arises: how would Chanel feel about being pregnant with Johnny's child in the midst of their turmoil? On the Monday, January 6th episode, Chanel confronted Johnny about the rumors swirling around his so-called drunken mistake on New Year's Eve. Though Johnny insisted that it was just a kiss and nothing more, Chanel couldn't contain her anger. What hurt her most wasn't just the kiss itself, but the fact that both Johnny and Joy had been deceiving her for months. She felt humiliated and betrayed by the two people she thought she could trust. "I can't believe you would do this to me, Johnny," Chanel snapped, her voice shaking with emotion. "You promised me forever, and yet here we are, with Joy Wesley, of all people. Do you even realize how much you've broken me?" Johnny, looking visibly remorseful, attempted to explain. "Chanel, it wasn't like that. I was drunk, okay? It meant nothing. I swear to you, it's not what you think." But Chanel wasn't having it. "Oh, it's not what I think? Then tell me, Johnny, how long have you been lying to my face?" Chanel didn't stop there. She confronted Joy Wesley in what quickly became one of the most explosive showdowns in recent memory. Joy, who had been avoiding Chanel since the news broke, finally faced her wrath. "How dare you come into my life and pretend to be my friend while sneaking around with my husband?" Chanel demanded. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" Joy's defenses crumbled as she admitted her role in the betrayal. I never meant for it to go this far," Joy stammered. I didn't think it would hurt you like this, didn't think?" Chanel shot back, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "That's all you have to say? That you didn't think?" As if the betrayal wasn't enough, Chanel's confrontation with Joy uncovered another shocking secret. Joy revealed that E.J. DiMera, Johnny's father, had once offered her money to leave Salem and stay away from Johnny. The revelation left Chanel reeling. "E.J. did what?" Chanel exclaimed, her eyes widening in disbelief. Joy nodded. He thought I was a distraction to Johnny and offered me money to leave town. I didn't take it, but I should have. Maybe then none of this would have happened." The revelation added another layer of pain for Chanel, who had always suspected E.J.'s interference in her marriage but never imagined it would go this far. Before the chaos erupted, Chanel and Johnny shared an intimate moment on New Year's Eve. In a bittersweet twist, this act of passion now haunts Chanel as she wonders if it could lead to another unplanned pregnancy. Longtime fans will remember the couple's previous pregnancy, which ended in heartbreak. The possibility of history repeating itself weighs heavily on Chanel as she contemplates her future. "What if I'm pregnant, Johnny?" Chanel asked, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "How am I supposed to raise a child with someone I can't even trust?" Johnny, visibly shaken, responded, "We'll figure it out. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. I love you, Chanel." But Chanel wasn't convinced. "Love isn't enough, Johnny. Not anymore." Difficult decisions ahead. The possibility of an unplanned pregnancy has left Chanel with difficult decisions to make. As she grapples with her crumbling marriage, betrayal, and E.J.'s meddling, she must also consider what's best for her future, and for a potential child. Will she decide to keep the baby if she is pregnant? Or will the weight of her circumstances push her toward a different choice? Meanwhile, Johnny is determined to win back Chanel's trust, but it's clear that he has a long road ahead. Fans of Days of Our Lives are left wondering what lies ahead for Chanel, Johnny, and the rest of the DiMera clan. Will Chanel find it in her heart to forgive Johnny, or is this the end of their tumultuous marriage? And how will E.J.'s actions impact the already fragile family dynamics? But how would Chanel feel about being pregnant with Johnny's child in the midst of their turmoil? Chanel previously objected to the idea of abortion, a stance rooted in her personal values and emotional struggles. If she discovers she's pregnant now, it's unlikely she'd choose to terminate the pregnancy. But that doesn't mean the decision will be easy. Conflicted and overwhelmed, Chanel might choose to keep her pregnancy a secret, at least for the time being. The DiMera family's reputation for manipulation and toxicity is no secret, and Chanel is already grappling with the shocking revelation that E.J. DiMera, Johnny's father, interfered in her marriage by attempting to pay off her friend Joy to drive a wedge between her and Johnny. Chanel has always been wary of the DiMera family's darker side, but the knowledge of E.J.'s meddling deepens her doubts. The thought of raising a child in a family steeped in deception and control is daunting. The situation becomes even more complicated if she learns that Johnny was aware of EJ's actions and chose to remain silent. Could Chanel trust Johnny to stand by her and their potential child, or would his loyalty to his family cloud his judgment? Days of Our Lives, spoilers suggest that Chanel may consider keeping the paternity of her child a secret if she discovers she's pregnant. Such a decision would stem from her desire to protect her child from the DiMera legacy, a legacy fraught with manipulation, power plays, and tragedy. But Chanel's secrecy wouldn't come without consequences. Would Chanel fake a one-night stand with a stranger to throw Johnny off the trail? It's not out of the realm of possibility. Chanel is nothing if not resourceful, and she might feel she has no other choice if she believes Johnny would allow his family to interfere in her life and the life of their child. In a moment of vulnerability, Chanel might confide in her best friend and former lover, Allie Horton. The two share a deep bond, and Allie could provide the emotional support Chanel desperately needs. "Allie, I don't know what to do," Chanel could confess, her voice trembling. "If I'm pregnant, how can I bring a baby into this mess? The DiMeras, they'll find a way to control everything. And Johnny, I don't even know if I can trust him anymore." Allie, ever the voice of reason, might reply, "Chanel, you have to do what's best for you and the baby. If you think keeping the truth from Johnny will protect your child, then maybe that's what you need to do. But are you ready to live with that kind of secret? It's a huge decision." Another option Chanel might consider is leaving Salem altogether. Running away from the DiMera family's influence could provide her with a fresh start, free from the web of lies and manipulation. But leaving wouldn't be easy. Chanel has deep ties to Salem, from her bakery to her friendships and relationships. Could she truly walk away from everything she's built? In an emotional conversation with her mother, Paulina Price, Chanel might voice her fears. "Mama, I can't raise a baby around the DiMeras. It's toxic. Look at what they've already done to my marriage. How can I trust that they won't hurt my child too?" Paulina, always the protective mother, might respond with her characteristic boldness. "Baby, you're stronger than you think. The DiMeras are powerful, sure, but you've got the Price blood in you. And if it comes down to it, you'll have me standing right there beside you. But running away? That's not the answer. You need to face this head on." Should Chanel choose to keep her pregnancy a secret, the truth is bound to come out eventually. Days of Our Lives thrives on dramatic reveals, and this storyline would be no exception. Johnny's reaction to discovering he's the father could range from heartbreak to anger, especially if he feels betrayed by Chanel's decision to hide the truth. The DiMera family's response would add another layer of drama, with EJ likely seeing the child as another pawn in his endless quest for power. In the end, will she find the strength to stand up to the DiMeras and protect her child without resorting to lies? Or will the pressure of her circumstances lead her down a darker path? Next, on today's episode, the drama in today's episode of Days of Our Lives reached a boiling point at the body and soul office, with emotions running high and relationships strained to the breaking point. What started as a tense conversation between Chanel and Johnny quickly spiraled into a whirlwind of conflict and soul-searching that left no character unscathed. Chanel entered the office with a resolute expression, her mind made up. Johnny, seated behind his desk, could sense that something was off. He looked up, concern etched on his face. "Chanel," he began, "what's going on? You look serious." Chanel didn't mince words. "I'm quitting, Johnny, effective immediately." Johnny's jaw dropped. "What, you're quitting? Chanel, you love working on the show. You've said so a million times." "I did," she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. "But things have changed, Johnny. You and Joy, everything's different now. I can't do this anymore. I'm done with the show. And I'm done with you." Johnny stood, his eyes searching hers. "Wait a second, what happened? Did something happen with Joy?" Chanel's face hardened. "You could say that. She and I had a little chat, and let's just say it didn't go well." Earlier that day, Chanel had run into Joy at the Brady pub. It was supposed to be a casual encounter, but the tension between them quickly escalated. "Chanel," Joy greeted, her voice tentative. "Can we talk?" "Talk about what?" Chanel shot back, folding her arms. "About how you waltzed into my life and wrecked everything," Joy sighed, trying to stay calm. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I'm sorry if I hurt you." "Sorry?" Chanel's voice rose. "Sorry doesn't cut it, Joy. You didn't just hurt me. You destroyed something I cared about." Joy's eyes filled with tears, but Chanel wasn't done. And now you want me to just act like everything's fine? Work with you like nothing happened? Not a chance. Chanel's anger still simmered as she recounted the encounter to Johnny. She had the nerve to ask me to forgive her, Chanel spat. As if it's that easy. Johnny looked pained. Chanel, she cut him off. Save it, Johnny. I've made up my mind. Once I leave here, I'm going back to my first love. Sweet bits. And no, before you even think it, I'm not talking about Allie. She's got a boyfriend now, remember? Unlike you, I don't chase after taken people. Johnny winced at her jab. That's not fair. Fair? Chanel laughed bitterly. Don't talk to me about fair, Johnny. I'm done here. Done with the show. Done with you. She turned to leave, but Johnny stepped in front of her. Wait, Chanel, please. The show needs you. I need you. Abe's unexpected entrance at that moment. Abe Carver walked into the office, his usually composed demeanor replaced by a visible frustration. He paused, taking in the scene, Chanel's fiery expression, Johnny's desperate plea. Am I interrupting something? Abe asked, raising an eyebrow. Chanel didn't hesitate. Not at all. You're just in time to hear the news. I'm leaving Body and Soul. Effective immediately. Abe's eyes widened. Chanel, you can't just walk away. You signed a contract. Chanel's temper flared. You're not seriously threatening to sue your stepdaughter for breach of contract, are you? Abe sighed, running a hand over his face. No, of course not. But you have to understand how important you are to this show. You're part of one of our most popular couples. The fans would riot if you left. Johnny interjected, his voice firm. If Chanel wants out, I'll leave instead. The show can find a new director. But losing her would be a disaster. Abe shook his head. That's not the solution, Johnny. We need both of you. But Chanel was unmoved. I'm done, she said firmly, brushing past both men and storming out. Meanwhile, at the Brady pub, Joy sat at a corner table, scrolling through her phone. The buzz online about Body and Soul was impossible to ignore. When Alex walked in to pick up his order, he spotted her immediately. Hey, he said, sliding into the seat across from her. What's got you so glued to your phone? Joy handed it to him, showing him the latest social media posts. At least they're talking about us, she said dryly. Alex shrugged, handing the phone back. That's the nature of the beast. Joy sighed. I ran into Chanel earlier. It didn't go well. Alex frowned. What happened? She hates me, Joy admitted. And honestly, I don't think she'll ever forgive me. Alex leaned forward. Look, you can't control how Chanel feels. But you can control how you move forward. Stop beating yourself up. Forgive yourself and start fresh. Joy nodded slowly. New year, new positivity, right? No matter how much Chanel hates me. Back at the office, Abe and Johnny were left to pick up the pieces after Chanel's departure. This is a mess, Abe muttered. I'm not happy about losing her, but I have to admit, she's got a point. Johnny looked defeated. I'll try talking to her again. Maybe I can convince her to stay. Abe placed a hand on his shoulder. Do what you can, but if she's truly done, we'll have to figure out a way to move forward. As the episode closed, Chanel walked into Sweet Bits, determination on her face. The bakery was quiet, but to her, it felt like coming home. She slipped on her apron and took a deep breath. Whatever came next, she was ready to face it.